Hello, everybody. Once again, I am Seraphin, and thank you again for joining me on Fire Emblem Blazing Sword. We are going to resume our adventure with Chapter 7, Siblings Abroad. Yeah, we don't need any help from that jerkwad. You can see we're crossing Toscana, another territory, and going toward Cathalet. Yes, press onward. A young boy appears. What could he possibly want? Maybe he's a spy! Spoiler alert, he's not a spy. Here is said young boy now. Man, people are such dicks around here. We are in Cathalet. "10 days left. Here comes young boy. Nini and my sister. Singing, of course, is like, wait, your sister, huh? Lynn, of course, being lawful good, has to help everybody. Yeah, I think she's more neutral good. Kent, however, is lawful good. Which is why he literally promotes into a paladin later. Sorry for the D&D references if nobody gets that. You're in luck, Lottie. Why, yes, we are. I mean, you guys are. I'm not. I'm just a random sprite on the board here. Ooh, now we get the creepy music. Back to Nurgle with you. Now, that's a name you're not going to see again for quite some time, but you should keep that in the back of your mind. And Lynn's like, nuh-uh. Yeah, all two of them. Oh, here we go. So now we get the preparations menu. We're going to see this for every chapter from now on. Well, that's technically not true. For the rest of Lynn's campaign, we'll be seeing this, and then it's going to go away again at the beginning of Hallowwood's quest, and then it's going to come back again later. So this is where we can prepare our units ahead of time, rather than having to rely on them trading on the board. So here we can pick the number of units we're going to use. Unfortunately, we have 10 people, and we can only deploy 8 of them. So what we're going to do, I'm not going to use Wrath still because, again, he's very high level, and we don't need him eating experience points from lesser leveled units. And either we're going to leave Dorcas or we're going to leave Sane. And Sane, unfortunately, is very useful in terms of his mobility, so I think we're just going to leave Dorcas out of this one. I do want to bring Matthew, though. Generally speaking, you do want to bring a thief, because if there's stuff to steal, they're the only one that can do it. And this will free up some room. Now, some of you may be thinking, why are you getting rid of your only axe unit? Well, unfortunately, there are people who can deal with lance units just as well as he can. And I don't want to let go of any of my other guys. So we're going to use these 8 people for this round, and then I can do trade from inside of this menu, rather than having to do it on the board. Lynn's Iron Sword's looking a little worn down there, so I'm going to trade with Sane here and get a fresher one. And he's got 2 kind of worn out ones, but that should be enough for him. Kent has plenty of stuff. Florina's good. Will is good. I think I'll take the Vulnerary with more uses off of Dorcas. Urk doesn't even have one, and I'll give him Wraths. And I'm actually going to give that short bow to Will. Since we're not deploying Wrath, he doesn't need anything. And then we're going to have Dorcas hold on to our stuff. So he's going to hold on to this Angelic Robe for now until I decide where I want to use it. And I'm going to let Matthew keep that Armor Slayer in case he runs into something beefy that he needs to swing at. And you'll notice he doesn't have a Vulnerary either, but unfortunately, oh, he can take this one and still have a slot left to steal stuff. I have not touched that Monicati yet because I haven't needed to, but this might be the exception to that. I guess we'll see in a moment. So everybody's good. This is grayed out right now, but honestly, you don't use this a whole lot later on anyway, but I'll explain it when we get there. It's going to be quite a ways from now. I can also check the map now. And not only can I look at the map ahead of time, it's not all that big, but I can actually change the position of my guys. And then I can fly over these mountains here. You'll see the objective was to kill Heinz, and Heinz is this boss right here. Heinz is a shaman. And shaman, you might be thinking, what, is he like a witch doctor or healer? No, he is a dark magic user. Shamans use dark magic. And that sounds terrifying. It's a lot scarier sounding than it actually is. Dark magic is quite powerful. You'll see it's got a might of 7 compared to that flame tome, which was only a might 5. It still has range 1 to 2. This is the lowest ranking dark magic, and it still requires rank D. There is no rank E dark magic. It's to start at level D. And it is quite heavy. It weighs 8. That being said, this guy's stats aren't all that impressive. So, attack of 10 with this Flux is not going to be all that big a deal. And Flux, dark magic in general has generally a much lower hit rate. It's like the axe equivalent of magic. It's quite strong and quite heavy, but also very hard to hit with. Anima and nature magic is kind of in the middle. It's like the lance equivalent. And then there's also light magic, which we're going to be seeing shortly, actually. Light magic is like the sword equivalent. It's weak, but it's also very light, and it also crits a lot. So killing this guy is the goal. He's situated in front of that gate, just like that guy in the first level. It gives him a defense bonus and an avoidance bonus. And we can't cross over these steep mountains to get to him. Well, Florina could. But everybody else is going to have to go around this way to get to him. So we're actually going to put Florina in the back since she can fly. And I'll put my guys that can move faster in the back also. My healer in the back, my archer, and it's going to be funny. We're going to have a frontline mage and frontline archer. It's not something you typically want to do, but these guys can move further, so they don't need to be quite as close. This guy starts out right next to us, too. That'll be fun. But you're going to see why in just a moment. Well, don't need that. We're actually going to save again real quick, so I don't have to do that again. And we will start the match. And now we get this person. We're facing a shaman. Well, yes, they use powerful dark magic. Not quite as fearsome as you might think. This. Yes. An Elamine monk. Right. His name is Lucius. Yes, that is a dude. Kind of a running joke. They're not every game, but a lot of games. there is a character who looks to be more akin to the opposite gender that they actually are. So Lucius, as effeminate as he looks, is a guy. If you've played Fire Emblem Awakening, there is also another monk character named Libra, who is of the same situation. Long blonde hair, very effeminate looking, but again, a dude. Lucius is pretty cool. He's a monk. He's not a healer, strangely enough. You would think, being a religious person, he'd be a cleric or some such, but actually, he wields light magic. And light magic, again, as I mentioned, it's not quite as strong. It's got might 4, but it doesn't weigh that much, and it has innate critical percent chance. And it also very, very high hit rate, with 95%. It's the weakest of light magic, called lightning. I'm not sure why it's called lightning, because that makes it sound like it's element magic, but it's not. It's light. And Lucius actually has very impressive magic and very impressive speed. Lucius is very fast. However, you'll notice his defense is abysmal, and as is his luck. He's already level 3. His resistance, however, is also very good. So Lucius excels at 3 things. Lucius excels at magic, he excels at speed, and he excels at resistance. Everything else is garbage. His skill is kind of okay, but luck and defense, very rarely will he get points in either of those. And unfortunately, low luck means that he's going to, if he ends up getting hit by people, he might get crit more often, and that's never any fun. That being said, there's another thing I get to touch on now. So as I mentioned, there are 3 kinds of magic. There's element magic, anima magic, there's light magic, and there's dark magic. Much like the weapon triangle of swords, axes, and lances, magic has its own weapon triangle, as evidenced here. So, element magic, nature magic, is effective against light. Light is good against dark, as you can see here with the arrows. And dark is good against nature magic. So think of them exactly the same as you would with sword beat axe, axe beats lance, lance beats swords. However, it's just with magic tomes instead. So Lucius, being a light magic user, will utterly destroy these poor magic guys, these poor dark magic people. You'll see he'll hit this guy twice for 10 damage and only take 2 in return, if he gets hit with that abysmal 45%, which is not all that likely. He will not, however, kill this guy. He'll be just shy unless he crits. 8%, it's still low, but it's higher than you might think. And there you go, there's the crit. Some character classes, it's kind of hard to tell when they crit. I mean, I'm used to it because I see it all the dang time, but Lucius, when he crits, will throw his hand up in the air instead of straight forward and pray for a second, and then shoot the light at them. So, again, anything with extra crit percentage, a lot more likely to crit than you might otherwise think. Kent can get in range to throw a javelin at this guy, and in fact he'll kill him, so let's see if Will can do it instead. Will kill this guy too. Who needs the experience more? Urk does, so we're going to let Urk kill this archer. Might take a hit in the process, but he can handle it. I love the spinning, throwing a fireball animation there. Once they get better spells, it looks even cooler. So we can freely move our army a little closer here. This is a shop, as I mentioned earlier. This is, well, it's called vendor, excuse me. But the shops, the vendors, sell all sorts of stuff. Oh, here, I get to show you something else. We have Nils, too. I forgot about him. Nils is this innocent little boy, I guess. You'll notice he has no strength and no skill. And the reason for that is he is a bard. He does not get to fight. He doesn't have any weapons. He cannot use any weapons of any description. And you might be thinking, what in the heck is he doing on a battlefield? Nils has the uncanny ability to make other units move again. So if I move next to someone who's already moved, who's grayed out like this, I can play them a musical little tune here. Adorable. And now Lucius can move again. So if he hadn't taken on that shaman, I could have revitalized him and allowed him to take another shot at him. And now Lucius can move again. I'm going to move him into the shop and see what we can get in there. So this shop, they sell vulneraries if I need more. Right now I don't. They also sell healing staves, as you can see, and more fire books. I don't believe Urk is in need of another fire book, but we might as well grab him one for now. You know, I lied. We're not going to bother with that. We are, however, going to grab another healing staff, because Sarah might need one of those pretty soon. They're a little expensive, but well worth it. So we're going to grab one of those for Sarah. And I'll move her over here. She can't quite trade with him yet to get it, but that's fine. She doesn't need it right now anyway. We'll move Matthew up. I probably should check and see if anybody has anything worth stealing on this map. This guy will drop an iron lance when he's killed. That's cool. The boss doesn't drop anything. Nope, nothing else to steal, so we don't need Matthew to be worried about stealing anything. Move all of our guys this way, including our noble cavaliers. Suppose I can have Sane visit this village. So she's talking about a dead old snag on the other side of this river, and what she's referring to isn't here. I lied, it's right here. So this is the old snag she's talking about. As you can see, it has durability, much like a broken wall would. If somebody were to hit this snag and break it, it would fall over on top of this river and make a bridge. And you'll see these a lot more often in later chapters, but this one's just kind of there. It's literally superfluous. There's no reason to go this way over here. And in fact, in order to get over to that side, you'd need to be on that side already anyway. So, that being said, we are going to send Florina down that way. I'm going to have her soften up those casters before my main army gets down there. Alright, let's see who needs experience. I think it's still Urk is the lowest level unit. Let's double check that. Matthew is level 2. Matthew, unfortunately, is very hard to level because, again, he's not very good at fighting. And he doesn't get any experience from opening doors or chests or any some such. He does get experience from stealing stuff. Nils only gets experience when he helps somebody move again, and he only gets 10 XP per use of that. So he is just as hard to level up as a cleric, if not more so. Because you only get a finite number of times to use that per game, effectively. So Urk still needs some experience points. We'll have him poke at this guy. By poke, I mean smack him in the face with a fireball. He is hurt from getting hit by that archer, though, so we'll have Sarah heal him. And then I'm going to let Matthew take this brigand on and see if he can't take... Oh, yeah, absolutely. Could one-shot him with the Armor Slayer. But I'm going to... If he gets more than one hit, he'll level up his sword rank quicker. The more times you hit with an attack, the more weapon experience you'll get with it. So I'm going to let him do 2 attacks instead of 1. He's got plenty of iron swords, so... And he's very unlikely to get hit by that. In fact, there's no way. It's kind of funny. He just kind of flies at him and pulls a dagger out of his cloak. Very thief-like. And of course we get another free Iron Lance. I don't think anybody needs that, but we can sell it if we need to. Lucius is level 3. He could use some experience points as well. Put him here. And unfortunately we're kind of at a bottleneck here because we have this fort here, which is considered difficult terrain, and also this little mountain range, which is very difficult to get through. In fact, my horses can't get through it at all, although they can move straight through my other guys. But Kent doesn't need to, he's already level 6. So we're going to leave Lynn back here. I'll move Kent behind that, and I'm going to let Nils play for him just to give him the experience points. And we can park Sane right back in here. And again, Florina's going to move further south so she can take shots at these magic users. She can't quite finish this guy in one round, it doesn't look like, but she can severely weaken him. Because of her decent resistance, she will take almost no damage from this magic attack. That being said, shamans are a little hardier than most other mages. Monks and clerics have very little defense comparatively. Shamans generally get enough to take some hits. Not a lot, enough to be like a tank or anything, but just enough. As you can see, this one actually has more defense than it has resistance, so that becomes a trend later on too. I believe in Awakening, one of the first Dark Mages you get, Tharja, has far more defense than she has resistance starting out. That Mercenary is actually going to go hit Urk right now, but that's okay. I don't think he'll double. It's kind of impressive that he hit, actually. I'm standing on a mountain range right now. And if Urk hits one more guy, he'll level up, so... Unfortunately, I didn't put the Javelin on Florina, so she can't counter this guy, but she might not even get hit. Oh, she will. That's okay. In fact, I'm just going to have her finish this guy off real quick with an Iron Lance. And she's going to crit him in the face. That's a good way to tell you that someone's crit. If they spin or flourish their weapon before they hit, then that means they crit. Very unnecessary critical hit, but, you know, you see a lot of those. Let's see if Matthew can take this guy down again. Maybe if he uses the Armor Slayer, he could. Oh yeah, you just gotta hit him. No big deal, right? Perfect. And the nice thing about Thieves, because they're so frail and difficult to land hits with, they generally get more experience from combat than another combat-centric unit would. He's also level 2, so that helps. We're going to heal Urk up with Sarah again. This episode might go a little long, I apologize, ladies and gentlemen, but I'd rather get it done in one move here. The bottlenecking of these units is taking longer than it should, but I suppose it's not that big a deal. I'm going to let this Brigand come straight for Matthew. I'll park Lucius behind that. And then Will, and then Lynn. We'll play a little tune for Lynn because I need the experience. In fact, what we're going to do to speed things up a little bit, we're going to set animations for each of you individually. I don't want Sarah to show animations because healing is boring, and either with Nils because it just takes too long. We'll let people who actually fight have animations. And that will make things go a little quicker. And Lynn can move onto this mountain range and make a little more room for other people. Not much, but... Matthew should be able to handle this guy no problem. In fact, he might double hit and kill him. No, not quite. That Armor Slayer is just a little too heavy. Something else I should make note of, too. You'll notice that there's this little village here left outstanding, and you'll see the gate, the front gate of the village is open. It functions very similarly to those little towns inside cities that you can visit. This one has a red roof on it, so that means we get something from going here. However, these brigands are jerks, and if they make it to the entrance of that gate before you do, they will burn the village to the ground and you won't get anything. So if you see a brigand making a beeline for a village, you should either get to the village before they do, so that the village gate closes and you get the thing, or kill the brigand. And we're going to have Matthew finish this guy off. Matthew's going to level up. He's going to get strength. That's impressive. He never gets strength. He also didn't get speed. That's kind of that's even more unusual than him getting strength is him not getting speed. But 11 is plenty for right now. I think we can live with that. This mercenary can't quite make it over that mountain range to the bridge. It's kind of odd having a bridge straight to a mountain, if you ask me, but what do I know? We'll have Lucius shoot over the mountain at him. He won't get doubled, but he might take a good whack in the face from that sword. I could rescue him and get him out of there. In fact, I like that plan. Let's do that. Lynn's a little too heavy to pick him up. I think Will can, though. No, maybe not. Con of 6 for this guy, huh? How about we let Kent pick him up? Make sure he's got his lance equipped so we can deal with that mercenary better. Rescue him. And then I'll have Sane take him away, and then drop him right there. I remember mentioning that a few levels ago, but I'm not sure if anybody remembers the whole picking up and dropping in the same turn. Very effective for training units who are frail or low level that can't take hits very often. And you'll see that because I turned Sarah's animation off, she'll just do a quick little blurb on the board instead of dropping into her sprite. And it goes a lot quicker. Urk, I'm going to have visit this village. Quite a bit more than you, I imagine, considering he's a mage. I mean, you can. Yep, he's literally telling you what I already told you. He is going to give us something, though. A special kind of water. It's pure water. Turns out, if you sprinkle water on yourself, it makes you a lot more resilient to lightning bolts and fire. It gets weaker as time passes. So we get a pure water. Pure water is something similar to a potion. So it has 3 uses, as you can see. If the person who drinks it will get a temporary bonus of +7 resistance. And that bonus will drop by 1 point every turn until it fades away. So 7 resistance the first turn, 6 the next, 5 and so on until it's gone. If you drink it again, it will refresh the +7, but it won't stack. So if you have +5 remaining and drink it, you won't go to +12. You'll just reset back to 7, and then it counts down again from there. And you get 3 uses of that. Very good for units that have crappy resistance that need to worry about tanking mages on occasion. That being said, I don't get a whole lot of use out of this during my playthroughs, but we'll hang on to it just for now. You also generally can't buy those. Maybe a few shops late in the game that'll let you buy them, but you generally are at the mercy of how many you just get during the course of gameplay. And then I've got Florina down here still. I'm going to have her move over here and take a stab at this shaman. He's on a fort, however, so he's going to be a little hardier. And he'll also heal if he stays there, but I don't think he will because he's going to want to move somewhere where I can't retaliate against him. Which will only make it easier for me to kill him next turn. Tink! It's one of those satisfying sounds in this game. Someone goes to hit you and nothing happens. Yep, that's what I thought. Move off the fort. Just so he can get a shot at me without me firing back. That mage is going to go for Lynn, but I don't think he's going to have an easy time hitting her. Okay, he does, but she's got an okay resistance. I think he's only at 2 or 3, but... Now we can move on top of this fort and finish this guy off. As long as I use this lance and not the other one. And she crits again! My goodness. She does turn into a crit machine later on in the game, especially if you give her a crit-capable lance. More strength! She's literally gotten that every time. Man, this is working out really well. She's about to level up to level C in lances as well. Thank you, Florina, for being tolerable to use this playthrough. Matthew's close enough to hit this guy. Not enough to double him, but that's okay. Matthew is so fast, there's very little chance of getting hit by an axe. That's what determines your avoid, by the way. I don't know if I ever mentioned that during my calculation phase, but the way you calculate how fast or how able you are to avoid things is double your speed and add your luck. So 22 plus 3 is 25, and that's what Matthew's avoid ends up coming out to be. So someone who's very nimble and very lucky, like Lynn, for example, has much higher evade than anybody else. Now, that being said, that speed, or that effective avoidance will go down if they're carrying too heavy of a weapon. So, if Lynn were carrying something that weighed any more than 5, her avoid would go down as well as her overall speed. So, you don't want to let people have anything too heavy to hold on to if you're relying on them to dodge people. We're going to let... Who needs a level up? We'll let Lucius finish this guy off. You know, I can have him go for this mage instead. Because he'll literally kill him in one round. Even though he has the disadvantage, Lucius's magic is so high. And light magic is so accurate, it just more or less negates the disadvantage he gets from fighting people with nature magic. So he's almost like a norm breaker in a sense. And then we're going to let Urk finish off this bandit because he'll level up from it too. Yeah, that's not great. Urk's just going to get HP and nothing else. He's still doing okay stat-wise, but if he keeps going at the rate he's going, he's not going to be all that usable later on. My Cavaliers cannot cross these mountains, so they have to go this way. Which is fine. I'll have Sarah come down here. I believe she can heal Lucius a point because he just leveled up. And she's about to level up too. One more heal, that'll do it. Or if she gets shot at and dodges it. We'll park Lynn here and have Nils assist her in getting across that mountain range. We just have the boss left. Now I know I said flying units don't benefit from terrain bonuses, but they do still get the healing from forts if they're standing on top of them at the start of their turn, which is pretty nice. Now this village here has something special in it, and I'll show you as soon as I can get to it. I know it's not a red-top village, so I don't get anything, but there's an interesting conversation to be had there. Some of you who know what it is are like, yeah, it's not that big a deal. Well, I think it is. We're going to leave Florina there so she keeps getting healed up a little bit more. And we're going to have Sane visit the village. Now that is Hector. And he's wondering where Ellawood is. Ellawood being the other main character that we haven't met yet. You may be wondering, what in the heck is Hector doing here? Hector and Ellawood, and they tell you this later on, will meet up, I believe, once every couple of months to spar with one another, because that's their little friendly rivalry thing. And they just happen to do it right here in Catholic. And that's the village where they meet up to do it. Now you'll notice, all that Hector said to Sane was, Ellawood's late, I don't know when it's going to take him so long. If I go in here with Matthew, however, you'll notice the music is different, and also the conversation is different. The reason for that is because Matthew is a spy in the service of House Ostia. And Hector is the brother of the Marquis of Ostia. And there you go, him telling you that him and Ellawood are here for their monthly bout. Which is funny, because I imagine it takes a couple of weeks for them just to get out here from where their respective countries, or their respective city-states, rather. The Lord Uther. Uther is Hector's brother, his older brother. He is the Marquis of Ostia, and he's awesome. We're not going to see him for quite a while, but that's okay. The music you're hearing right now is actually Hector's theme. And once we progress to Hector's quest at some point, this will be here. You'll be hearing quite a bit. Matthew was quite clever. There's nothing to be gained from that. It's just a fun little conversation. Sort of like a... not foreshadowing necessarily, but just a little glimpse of what's going to happen later, who the people you're going to meet later on. I think it's neat. You can disagree or agree, whatever your choice, but I don't care. We'll park Lynn here. She hasn't gotten a level up in a while. She's still on level 5, and we're on chapter 7. She might be due for a level pretty soon. In fact, I might let her deal with this boss. Can Urk hurt this? Urk, however, has disadvantage against this guy and is not in a great way, so we're going to let him stay right there. And let's see what Florina can do to him. Florina can outright kill him in a couple of turns, and I might let her do that. Although I'd kind of like Lucius to get some more experience, so we'll see. And Florina will heal back up to full, and so will Urk. We're going to move Urk down here so Lucius can go this way. I believe he can move right next to that Heinz guy this turn. Yep, there we go. He only has 7, but if we soften him up with Florina first, that will be just enough. As long as she doesn't crit, but you know what? That's fine. This guy thinks he's spoopy scary. He is not. And thankfully, Florina will not crit, which allows me to finish this guy off with Lucius. And there's her rank C in lances. Pew, pew! The girl is already... Alright. Okay, that's not great. Well, that's the end of the chapter at any rate. Where is your sister? Who the heck knows? She's not here. The boy's dear sister. We must give chase. Such a pessimist. Who could that be? Well, it's Ellawood! And of course, he recovered Ninian. I am Ellawood of Foray. His father is the Marquis. So Ellawood is the son of the Marquis of Foray, which is another Lycian territory. I believe it's the furthest east one. She looked in need of rescuing. Ah, yes. Cicaeans are Vulcans. They don't lie. Ellawood is not a bigot and is also a very nice guy. I just met you, but I want to be your best friend. And now we have Ninian. I am called Ninian. They're traveling performers. Nils is a bard. Ninian is a dancer. And of course that piques Sane's interest immediately. Sadly, she cannot dance to aid us. Not a chance. Our special talents. Top men. Ah, yes. So, Ninian and Nils have spidey sense. They can sense danger coming before it happens. Oh. She lost her ring. How very sad. Ninnis' Grace. The very one. Watch your language, child. They don't bother to explain who Ninnis is or anything. Obviously, it's their mother, but... you'll find out there is a reason why they don't really elaborate all that much on their mother. I'm not going to ruin that now. Again, I should quit kind of giving you guys leading on with this stuff, but it's too fun. Don't worry about it. You'll find out later. Those thieves might be too strong for us. Yeah, doubt it. So here we get the option of embarking on a side quest. And the reason that we got this option is because we beat that last chapter in 15 turns or less. If I had taken too long to beat that chapter, we would not have this option. So I am going to embark on a side quest because there's no reason not to. Now, the side quests in Fire Emblem are referred to as Gaiden chapters, which literally translates to side story. That being said, this particular side quest actually has quite a bit more to do with the main story than this current trek we're on. So, it could be argued that Lynn's quest is the side quest, and what we're about to go to is part of the main story later on. Now, if you're playing this for the first time, you won't know that, but it becomes very evident as soon as you finish Lynn's chapter. That's what's going on. So we're going to embark on the side quest next time because I'm looking and this went way longer than I intended it to. So enjoy the extra long episode. I appreciate your patience and thank you for sticking around. I have been Seraphin. I'm going to call it there for now, but we will pick up the side quest next time. Good evening, everybody.